All right, today we're going to unpack a pretty powerful lesson about creativity, and we're going to do it by looking at just one single image. Let's call this one The Lens and the Breeze.
Okay, so right off the bat, we've got a modern camera and an old fan. I mean, what's the story here? It's a pretty strange pairing, right? You've got this cutting-edge piece of tech sitting right next to something you'd probably find gathering dust in an attic. So what's the connection? Well, that's the puzzle we're going to solve together. So this is the entire scene we have to work with. It's a description of a professional photographer. She's holding a sleek, mirrorless camera, and right next to her, a very ordinary, old-fashioned fan. And it's all set up with cinematic lighting, 4K resolution, the whole deal. Let's treat every single part of this description like it's a clue.
Okay, let's start with the obvious star of the show here, the camera. I mean, it's exactly what you'd expect to see in a professional studio, right? It's all about precision, modernity, and total control.
And notice, the description is super specific. It calls it a sleek, mirrorless camera. Now that's important. You see, mirrorless tech is the reason today's cameras are so compact and incredibly powerful. We're really looking at the peak of modern digital imaging right here. And then there's this little detail, 4K resolution. Now that isn't just some tech buzzword. We're talking about a canvas of over 8 million pixels. This camera is built to capture reality with just absolute stunning clarity, where literally not a single detail gets missed.
So let's sum up our first character, the lens. It's sleek, it's modern, it's got digital precision, and it's high-res. It is the expected hero of this whole story. It's the perfect tool for capturing a perfect, static, flawless image.
Okay, so now let's turn to our other character. You know, the one that feels totally out of place here, the fan. It's the unlikely co-star in this whole high-tech drama.
Listen to how the source describes it. It doesn't just say a fan. No, it goes out of its way to call it very ordinary and old-fashioned, and that is completely intentional. It's meant to be seen as the total opposite of the camera. Unremarkable, dead simple, and from a completely different era of tech.
And this contrast, this gets right to the heart of the mystery. You've got the camera, digital, complex, all about precision, and probably pretty expensive. And then there's the fan, analog, simple, purely functional, and cheap. One is expected, the other is totally unexpected. I mean, they couldn't be more different. So, why on earth are they in the same room?
So, we've got our two characters, these polar opposites. Now it's time to pull back the curtain and see exactly why this partnership isn't just strange, it's actually genius. Which leads to the big question, right? What is this old fan really doing in a professional photo studio? I mean, it's obviously not there to cool down the photographer, so what is its real job?
And here's the answer. It's not for cooling, it's for creating. Its job isn't comfort, it's creation. It's there to introduce something the super high-tech camera just can't make on its own, a sense of life, of movement.
Think about how this actually works. Okay, so you start with a static subject. The scene is perfectly lit, everything's composed, but it's just still. It's beautiful, sure, but kind of lifeless. Then you introduce the breeze. You turn on that ordinary fan, and it creates this gentle, totally controllable airflow. And what happens next? Hair starts to move naturally. A piece of fabric begins to ripple. The fan is literally shaping the motion in the scene. And that is when the high-tech lens swoops in and does its job, capturing all the life and energy that was just created by its super low-tech partner.
So, what's the big lesson here? What does this simple little interaction tell us about the creative spark? Well, for starters, it tells us that just having the best, most expensive tools, that's not the whole story, not even close.
Because true innovation, the really cool stuff, often happens when you blend the new with the clever. It's about taking that powerful, brand new tech and pairing it with a simple, smart idea. The kind of thing that's so simple it's often completely overlooked.
All right, let's really spill out the takeaways. First, high-tech tools are absolute masters at capturing reality. But simple, low-tech tools, they can be masters of shaping it. You see the difference? And creativity, real creativity, is what connects those unexpected things. It proves that the most powerful solutions aren't always the newest ones. A lot of the time, they're a hybrid, a mix of the old and the new.
And that kind of leaves us with one final question for you. Think about your own world, your own work, whatever it is you do. You've probably got the high-tech lens part covered, right? We all do. The real question is, what's your old fan? What's that simple, ordinary, maybe even old-fashioned tool that you've been overlooking? The one that, if you just paired it with your modern skills, could create something, well, something truly alive.